Right, guys, so we're having Hell Hades with us today to walk us through the gear optimizer. A lot of you guys are already familiar with it. Some of you might not be familiar with it, but hellhades.com, a lot of stuff happening there. You have like a tier list, you have a gear optimizer, and a lot of other stuff to learn from. So, Hell Hades, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, really excited actually to talk about this and to kind of show you what it's all about. Yeah.
Right, guys, so head over to hellhades.com. All you gotta do to be able to get your hand on this gear optimizer, you just gotta create an account. So you go to memberships afterwards, raid optimizer beta, and you click on champions or artifacts, and here we are. You have all your champions from here with the gear that you have in all the games. So like this is gonna help you to optimize your champions to max potential. So I think we do have to install some other things before we get here, if you don't mind to walk us a bit through that part actually, because I forgot about it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So back on the kind of website page. Well, actually on this page. So you've got the little blue button here, which is an artifact extractor. What that's doing is it's extracting a tool which basically reads your local file. So your local file on Plarium Play. And to be fair, this only works on Windows-based games. Plarium Play on Windows at the moment. We don't do it for Macs and stuff like that.
Yeah. So just Windows then, yeah.
Yeah, but that will extract your local file, and then within that file will be all of your champions, your artifacts, your masteries, everything about your game. And then you extract that tool that you download, and it'll bring you back to this page.
That's awesome. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Do you need some sort of permission when you do it? Let me see if I can actually do it again.
So there's the odd virus checker that might like raise it as an alarm, and you just need to open that out to the. So I think Norton is one of the systems that you kind of need to just put it in the exceptions file.
So
but that's the only one I've heard of.
Run anyway, and here, guys, once you make your account on the website, you put in those details in here, log in, and that will actually take you into the game. Extract all the data from the game.
It's worth saying, like, the login details are not your Plarium Play login details. We don't capture any of your Plarium Play info. It's all the same login details that you would use for the Hell Hades website. So all we capture is an email address basically on the site.
Exactly. So nothing to worry about your account being in danger, because it's not. So use it with confidence. Right. So let's crack on it. So we see the champions here, how we have them equipped already with all sorts of stats that they have. Then we can see every single artifact we have on the account, right?
Yeah, that's it. And it's worth. So on the champions page, you can see there's a little padlock.
Yeah.
So if there's a particular champion and you're like, you know what, is my arena champion, I don't want to allow the tool to even look at the gear from this champion, you can just lock them out, and then the tool will not look for any of that gear.
Awesome. So for example,
once you start building your teams up, it's like, well, actually you want to keep those champions as they are. So yeah.
Because they're good enough already. So for example, we don't want to take any gear from Xavier. We're going to lock Xavier. We're going to lock Battle Khazar, and let's just say Ray. So now with the filter here, you have factions. You can pick factions of the champions you want to see right here, correct?
Yeah.
Exactly. Affinities, you can pick the affinities of champions as well. So like this, it makes it easier for you guys to find the champions. You can, of course, type the name here as well, I would assume, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And lock the champions you want to, or unlock them if you have them locked already from before. Let's just delete all that from there. See them all affinities. Role, you can select them by roles as well, correct?
Yeah.
Rarities, and pretty much everything locked and
unlocked. So the bottom section there, like the status, you can just click and say, right, who's locked? So you might be coming into this, in a week's time, and you'll be like, hold on, who have I locked? Do I still want them to be locked? You can just kind of unlock as many as you want in one go.
And there we see the rest. So the locked one, they already disappeared from the screen. Now, when you're talking about artifacts here, pretty much the same thing, right?
This is more like a page where you just see your artifacts. You can sort by, what is my fastest piece? You can sort by where's my highest HP, that type of thing. But really the kind of sexy part comes in when you select a champion, and then we start to go into the actual optimize, the optimizer, the actual tool.
Right. And how we go to the optimizer from here, for example?
So just click any champion that you want to use, any champion you want to build.
Okay, and optimize artifacts, right?
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
Lovely. So let's just say we want to build Balthazar a bit differently. Solo Dragon 20, for example, right? We already have him. We already have him for clan boss right now, tick defense, and all the rest of the stuff. So here,
Nice.
settings presets, you have like already some sort of builds that people can use. For example, like I just want to make my speed booster as fast as possible. I click on it and optimize.
You hit apply and then optimize. So if you go back to the preset, you had to,
I missed
apply
it,
first.
Yeah. So preset, apply, optimize.
Yeah.
And we see how fast we can make him, right?
Yeah.
We can make Balthazar 343 speed. Awesome. And still have a decent amount of stats on him.
Yeah, the cool thing here is like, so you see all these different builds, you can start to look at, well, where are the rest of my stats going to go? So yeah, you might have a number of different ways of getting 343 speed, but you know, some people you might decide like an arbiter, you might say, well, actually, I want accuracy as well, or I want defense as well. So you know, you do get a lot of different options that pop up.
Right. So if we're going at stats, for example, that's where you have the way of
hit the reset
selecting.
first. Hit reset and
first.
then just press reset settings.
Okay, we've done that already, I think. No, we didn't. Okay. So we're going at stats. Is it a way, for example, to say I want to cap it like around 250 accuracy and 230 speed? Like how are we selecting from here exactly how many points?
Yeah, so pretty much what these sliders do, they look at gear in terms of the roles that you've got in your gear. So let's say you want to build an accuracy, let's say you want a max accuracy, max speed type of role. If you have to move the accuracy and speed bars right up, then that's basically saying I'm looking for pieces of gear with like double, triple rolls in accuracy and speed.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you used to flick that through, you'd get like probably 500 odd accuracy plus, 300 speed plus type of builds. So you've got a 680 accuracy, 255 speed, and it's bought through all accuracy gear with good speed rolls on it.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is not much on my account.
But if you went back, and that does take a little bit of kind of playing around. So if you then wanted to improve the speed but reduce the accuracy, you could have changed those sliders again slightly and said, well, you know what, keep the speed max, but then bring the accuracy down a touch. So that's just kind of like a basic way of playing around with the sliders. So you start to understand how the stats are being pulled through. But what you can also do, to your point earlier, is you can start to cap the stats that you want on things. So you see you've got a soft cap option. That's basically saying, I would like it to be at this level, but if it goes over by a few points, I'm not fussed. So crit's a good option here where you say, you know what, I would like 100 crit, but if it goes to 105, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want to bring those bars right back down. So at the moment, what it's basically saying to the tool with this level is, I'm looking for double and triple rolls.
Okay.
Whereas actually, you probably want to be looking for more like
what would be
fours.
Like plus fours, huh?
Yeah.
So plus fours is kind of equaling like a single roll.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. It means that you will be finding rolls on those pieces of gear. But you can use the sliders like this, and you can also just put in the minimum and maximum stats that you want to find. So let's say you've got a speed, you want to roll somewhere between 180 and 200 speed, for example. You could say minimum 180, maximum 200, and then it will bring you results between those two settings.
We'll need around 215 speed. Let's just put that, or 220s for the dragon. What is it? Something like that. Let's put 222. That would be safe, right? Then we gotta put a bit of a HP on him. So let's just go on 4 with that. Attack as well, a 4. Practically, we're gonna have to put some stats from everything on him to get him there, right?
Yeah. So some of the things, so putting them all at +4, it probably will have a bit of a brain freeze, because you're kind of like, everything's as important as each other. So you probably want to do is something like, I don't know, something like resistance, maybe take up 1, accuracy take down 1 sort of thing. So you just kind of,
let's go.
And it might be that the first time we generate the stats, you look at it and you say, well, let's do it. Just generate the stats, and then you'll go back and tweak what you want to change.
And let's see what we have here. We got a lot of resistance, so yeah.
So at the moment we've got, I mean, everything will be based on the parameters we've set. But you see it's pulled out a high resistance build, 220 speed that we wanted, a high HP, some defense. So you then go back into your stats and you might actually
We
say
can
at this point,
adjust
let's
a
bring
bit,
the
yeah.
resistance right down
Yeah, we can put it on
and maybe
4,
like a +2 or something.
+2, right? Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
with +2.
And think about it. When you take something from +8 to +2, a load of your substats are now going to change on the pieces that it's finding for you.
Yeah, yeah. So we do want to give a bit of crit rate as well. So let's put that on a 6 and see how we're looking like that
Yeah.
now. So now we found...
So clear,
Actually,
press clear, press clear again,
yeah, I have
and
to
then
clear
start.
it, yeah. And start it again.
Yeah, so clear, then start, and it should just flick straight through. Now we're finding a lot more options because we're not looking for that kind of crazy resistance build anymore.
Exactly, yeah. So we have quite a few actually. Most optimal probably will be if we go around here. From here we can actually lower a bit the accuracy and put more defense there. Let's see how will this look like.
And it just shows you who's wearing the pieces at the moment, or if nobody's wearing it, that it's free.
And if we want to select just particular sets, we can do that from here. So we can actually easier select none and then select like accuracy, resistance, for example, speed. What is it? The speed.
Under resistance, yeah.
Under resistance. Okay. And then we might want to take in some crit rate gear, for example. That can help a bit on him as well. And crit.
Yeah, it's all, it should be alphabetical, so it's going to be near the top, middle in the top there.
There it is. Lovely. So we select only these ones. Then again, when we go at Optimize, we can clear all that. Go at Stats. We said we want to bump a bit more the resistance, so by 1 point.
Yeah, and what you can do here, so we saw that accuracy was going quite high. You can actually set a maximum on the accuracy. You don't necessarily need to put a minimum, but you can just say, you know what, I don't want it more than...
Then no more than 250, right? So we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, resistance as well. We don't want it more than 280. Can that help as well, right?
Yeah. So now we're just kind of giving it a bit more information. So I always say like it's worth building up. So start with a kind of base build, see if your gear can do it. If it can, then great. You start building up from there.
Okay, so we found one.
So at this point, what it's actually saying here is we can't find
enough
gear to do what you want it to do now.
And that's because I deselected so many sets, you know. So
yeah, basically. Oh, we actually didn't have any sets on that time. That was weird.
Okay, so we selected all these sets back to it now.
So yeah, so if you go back to Optimize now, that they're back on,
to Optimize,
clear and start.
Stats, Optimize, and start again, right? So we found much better builds actually. It's still building.
Yeah,
there.
so now we've started to work our way into the build. We start to see almost a near perfect build for what you want. You've got your HP, resistance, accuracy, speed, crit rate, defense. But I think what people will need help with, and actually I've got a section on my Discord where we've pretty much got like a feedback section where people are asking for help because it's still a bit of a work in progress. And, you know, it's taken us like 4 or 5 searches there to get to a build that really feels strong.
Yeah, but it's just till you get to get used to with the optimizer. I feel like you do it a couple of times, you go back and adjust, but then you try figuring out the levels and being able to actually throw in directly the maximum cap you want, minimum cap that you want is going to make it much easier. So for example, it would be to almost type that on every single stat here. So let's just say we want minimum 40k HP, maximum 45, and then we will be to go on attack as well with a minimum of 2k, 3k maximum, and then do that for every single stat. Will that still work pretty good?
It won't necessarily give you better results because ultimately what's pulling through the gear is the way you've got the sliders. That's ultimately what's kind of pulling the gear through. But what it will do is it will start to look at your parameters and say, okay, now we've got a better feel for what you want. So we have found so it's struggled to do it, which I think we've probably been too
many things
precise.
on it.
Yeah, there's probably just too many kind of min maxes in there. But funny enough, we probably got to the same build that you're trying to build now without putting all of those min maxes on like the attack and stuff
actually
like
that. we actually had pretty good builds there.
So I would say you're better off if you can stick to the really important things that you want to hit a max of. Move the sliders in the different areas to start giving it a feel. And then if there's particular ones that are just going over or under, then put your minimum or maximum in just for those stats. That's the best way to use it at the moment.
Like this one so far, they already look great here. Like we have the right amount of resistance, right amount of accuracy, almost 4k defense, 43k HP, 2.6k attack, full crit rate.
Yeah.
Like this will slaughter the dragon.
Definitely, yeah. And the funny thing with this is, it starts to find pieces of gear that probably are sitting on champions that might even be in your vault, or champions that you're not using a lot.
Yeah, most probably.
Yeah, and ultimately, like probably just sitting dormant, because they're just kind of sitting on someone, maybe a faction war champion or something.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, obviously, it works better the more gear you've got rolled. And at the moment, what it does is, if you've got pieces of gear rolled to level, let's say level 8, this section here, you can either say, I want it to look at things that are rolled to a minimum of level 8, or you can take it down.
Not roll at all, but then it's going to be quite difficult for the actual optimizer to give you the right stats if the gear is not rolled, right?
Yeah, so it won't pretend to know what your substats will be, but it can. So it will roll your items up to level 16 on the main stat. So let's say you've got a level 1 defense percentage chest that's got good substats but isn't rolled. It will still roll the main stat up for you, so that you know what it would be. You know what its potential would be, basically.
So what would be the RNG behind that? The way it rolls it. You made
so it just rolls the main stat up to full. It doesn't predict.
It doesn't predict the substat.
No.
Damn, I thought that you cracked that.
Yeah, that would be. A few people have asked for it, but I think it's too RNG heavy, so it would end up spitting out builds that just aren't real.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Not for the optimizer, just generally. Imagine if someone can crack that, would be amazing. That would be amazing.
That would be good, yeah.
So here at the filter, you can select the level of artifacts. Definitely recommend it to put it at least 8, 12, 16 to be able to get the good feel of it. And
I'd also recommend, like, if you're the sort of person who's got a lot of gear that's sitting around at level 1, like not rolled, I would say any of those pieces that look like they could be half decent, roll them to level 8. I recommend that anyway, but roll them to level 8 when there's an artifact event on or something, and it will give you tons more options.
Definitely, and it's much easier to clear your gear like that if you have them rolled to at least a certain level. There, you know what has potential to be good on champions or
yeah,
no.
definitely.
So slots here, you can actually pick what slots you want to look for. Let's just say you don't want to swap the ring or the amulet, but you are looking for a new banner. It's gonna change all this for me, but keep the rest equipped, right?
Yeah, so if you particularly wanted your crit damage set of gloves that you're wearing and you don't want to change those, you could unclick gloves. It will keep those gloves on. Something else which actually is worth saying at this point, if you see the green button beta. Yeah, so basically there's 2 versions of the tool within this. So if you click that, it looks the same, feels the same, but it doesn't let you pick the 4-piece sets anymore. But what it will do is it will let you do a deeper dive on slots. So if on slots you deselect the ring, the amulet, and the banner, and say, you know what, I don't want to change any of those. And then go into optimize, see the search limiter comes up. You can actually select how many of the best pieces of gear per slot you want it to look for in this mode. So the more you select, the longer it takes to find stuff.
Yeah. So let's just click on a 46 here.
I've not got the presets on, but so you would need to reset all of what you want to be looking for. Yeah, sorry, but
so let's reset all the settings, right? Done.
Yeah. So you pick your stats again quickly.
So we pick the stats again. Let's just say 2 on there, 3 on there. For speed, we can actually put a maximum 222.
Yeah.
And critical, we have already 100. I can put it in here. Critical damage is fine, whatever it gives us. Let's leave it on a 2. And resistance, we went 3 and 4, but then we can write the amount here what we want.
Put the caps in, yeah.
Okay,
that's it. Now when you go to optimize,
and
you can just pick that up. So you can pick that up to like 15 or something. Or
15, yeah.
Yeah. So the less slots you're looking for, the higher that number can go. If you were only looking for like a helm and a weapon, you could throw that up to 200 and it would be fine. But the more things you're looking for, the longer it takes, basically.
let's just look for this 4 like this, and I think we should be good now. Yeah, I've put everything in order. So optimize. We've put them on level 8 there, guys. Self limiter. Let's just look for 19 pieces there and see. So we found a build, but then we're kind of missing some pieces because I removed some of the slots there. So
yeah, so it's just
I only kept
maybe
4.
you need to put boots and shields on to
Just
kind of
like
complete
that.
the build for this one.
Okay.
But basically what it's doing here is it's not looking for your jewelry. The jewelry you've already got on.
Okay, so now it's doing the search, right?
So you've probably taken that bar too high. Look how many hours it's saying.
132 hours.
Yeah. you want to bring that down. Clear that a second. Bring that down to like 20.
Let's bring it to 19.
Just basically what it's doing is looking for your best pieces per slot. Just let this roll for a second. That's it.
Okay, so now much faster, definitely.
Yeah. So, and it's still working because basically it's looking for the best 20 slots on your weapon, on your helm, on your shield. So, and it's looking for combinations of all of those things. So it actually is working really hard looking for all of your gear.
So it's practically doing every slot separately.
Yeah,
one by one.
And then it combines to try and find the best build for what you're after.
Oh, that's pretty smart. Pretty smart. So you've seen us guys from the point of view of a noob, the way I use the try here and the way I ask the questions. So you got your answers more or less here. If you have any other questions, you can definitely have a support on hellhades.com, right? You have some sort of support here.
Yeah, so on the actual website, there's a little support icon on the bottom left. And so if you click top right there where it says Hell Hades, that's it.
Yeah.
So down the bottom left, there's a little support thing. Plus, in my Discord, we've just got like a section where we just talk about the optimizer. People show screenshots of where they put their sliders and the type of builds they've got. So that tends to be an easier way just to kind of talk about it. If someone's struggling with it, and it does take a bit of getting used to, then yeah, there's always people there to help.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. So you want to tell us a bit the website, about the team behind it, how is everything going, and
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So we started the website in we actually launched it in December, but we started it a couple of months before that. And it's been really good actually. So we've been able to get 2 employed content writers. So on the articles page, there is different articles going up every day. Some of them are about things like the events that are going on in the game. Other things are like clan boss guides, dungeon guides, all sorts of stuff that we would normally do videos on for YouTube. So we've got 2 writers doing that. We've got a head of development who is the person who actually built things like the tools, known in the community as the Teach, but he is actually the person who done a lot of the data mining, which we see different things being built from. So when you see things like multipliers coming out and tools where you can look at gear and stuff like that, most of them are based on his work. So yeah, and there's other stuff in here as well, like the different tools that are out there in the community, my tier list. There's other games on here as well, like Dragon Champions and
that's great.
Incarnate. So yeah, there's a whole ton of stuff on here now. And we kind of want it to be a community website, so that people come and you can comment on each post, you can kind of play around with the different tools. And yeah, just get involved really.
And get their stuff done. So a lot of tools here, right?
Yeah, and there's things like on the right hand side there as well. You've got the different factions kind of laid out like they would be in the game. And there's things like debuff, buff lists. So if you're just looking for, a little bit up from there, if you're just looking for a certain type of ability, you can just say, right, who's all the champions with whatever bomb or, and it will just kind of pop out the different ones that are in the game.
Oh, that's great. So if you're wondering about anything, guys, it's pretty easy to find out everything about the game. So think of it like a Wikipedia for the game, right? Yeah. Every single detail in here, right?
We're trying.
That's good. It looks dope though. The interface and stuff feels pretty easy to use, like website wise. So it's definitely awesome. And the gear optimizer, guys, it can be a game changer for your accounts. The way you build your champions, take them to that full potential with the gear you have, and the gear might be lost on different champions that you haven't used for a while, or you just didn't thought of using that specific sets. A lot of people, I feel like early on, they kind of get the impression that building and going for that bonus set is so important. when broken sets, they still kind of rule it, you know.
Definitely for a lot of people, unless you specifically need a set for like clan boss or, you know, some sort of content. Generally, it's lifesteal early on, but if you don't need lifesteal, then broken sets are great until you get to super endgame. They're just so useful.
Definitely, yeah. Right, thanks for being with us here, Hell Hades, explaining us how the gear optimizer work and stuff. Make sure you guys go check it out. It's definitely a great thing for the community. It's free as well. You can just create an account and just start using it. Game changing for you and your accounts. Appreciate you all guys watching, and I'll see you all soon on another video. Till then, peace out.
Cheers, buddy.